Hi there, welcome to John Thoumire Garden Design. This is just a very quick how-to video, thinking about of cuttings videos and things like that. This is a quick how-to on how Forsyth Pot. Forsyth Pot. And this is basically for people who want to do cuttings, but maybe they have cats or maybe they have kids. They don't have really that much of a space to use it with. And the Forsyth Pot is really good for this because it's almost self-sustaining. Instead of having to look and make sure that there's enough water or you've cleaned the water. So if you're doing just like potting into, like taking cuttings and putting them into water, you have to keep the water fresh. So there's always oxygen for those cuttings. Hi, Wild Wind Wanderer. Thanks for joining us. And yeah, other things with if you're doing kind of cuttings and just soil, same thing. You have to make sure that the aftercare is really important in these things. So the Forsyth Pot, I keep calling it the Forsyth Pot. It's a Forsyth Pot. It's a far more low maintenance way of doing this. So we're going to do a very quick how-to on how to do this, and we'll be using it in tomorrow's cuttings for begonias. So, one other thing, it is roasting in my house. It's a south-facing window. I will be sweating all over the place. That's why I'm here, next to a public footway, and the Edinburgh Airport flight path is right above my head. So this could go crazy at any moment. Fred is right here, the dog. Also, who knows? So let's do this quite quickly. So you want to get a pot, okay? This is a 2-litre pot. You can go bigger if you want. I wouldn't go any smaller than this. You want to clean out the pot as well. That's very important because you're going to be putting fresh plant material in here. You want it clean and free of bugs. Hot soapy water will do. If you have any kind of horticultural bleaching agent, not great for the environment, but that will also really do the trick. But I just use hot soapy water. So we've got this. You'll need perlite. That's that white stuff you see in many of your new plants that you get. It's great for drainage. All we're using is this for this Forsyth Pot. So you'll need a good bag of this, some water, and very importantly, a terracotta pot, just a plain terracotta pot. Okay, the main pot, that can be plastic. That's got to have drainage holes in it. This terracotta pot, you're going to have to stuff up the bottom. Okay. What I do for that is I've actually used an old rubber glove and weighed it down with stones, and it works an absolute treat. Okay. But if you have a cork or some silicone or something like that, that would probably be much better than my option. Hi Pete, and hi Tartan Silk. So yeah, this is vital though. This is you actually have to have this. Now the reason for that is when we put water into this, it's going to sit in amongst all the perlite, and in there it goes into a bag. You'll see all this, but what happens is the water leaches out. It's not like free flow. It just creates humidity and condensation that will keep the perlite damp long after the water that we give it in the first stage dries away. So it has to be terracotta, I'm afraid. You can get these though from the main plant shops, the main big plant stores. I think this was about 55p. I can't remember the smaller one because I'm using a small one today. That'll do it as well, but definitely has to be terracotta. So this is the one I'm using today. This cost 45 pence, and I'm just using gravel that I had in my garden. It has to be clean gravel though, okay? So no horticultural grit, nothing like that. It has to be free of salt, and just give it a quick wash and it'll be fine. So that goes there. We're going to put the perlite in. I'm hearing people coming. Freddie, not a word. It's also quite windy, so this could get messy. Alright, so perlite goes in. Right up to the top. Like so. Now, I don't know if any of you use a lot of perlite. I do. If you're dealing with it in large volumes, you'll see this powdery dust come off it. If you really do have a lot of it, wear a mask. It's a lot healthier, it's a lot safer. Prior to certain recent events in the world, nobody really had masks, and you were just kind of doing it, but there's no excuse. Everyone has a mask these days, or I hope so. So the next stage is we're going to properly soak the perlite. So I've got a classy reused bottle, all about sustainability, and we're just going to properly top fill this. And I don't know if you can hear that, that's it leaking at the bottom. Onto my trousers, as it may happen as well. So definitely live TV, definitely IGTV anyway, and definitely wet trousers. I will not be going to the shop because I look like a wet myself. So, right, that's good. That's the perlite. Next, we take our pot and put it in the center. You just want to shove it down slowly. Okay, if you can get it down further, I would put it down further, but it's not that vital right now. So you can see this, that's the terracotta pot sitting in the middle of all the perlite. Remember, that's all we're doing. Now, before we go to the next stage, what is really good to remember about this is if you take a lot of cuttings, and you're going to use this, you may want to increase the size of the pot. This is good for me because I love taking cuttings. I love taking leaf cuttings, stem cuttings, all of it. And I've been doing it a long time now, and I know I kind of have a good idea what I'm doing. So I don't use the Forsyth pot as much as I used to. So I don't need a big pot. This is really for an example. I have one in the house, which is far bigger, but it's not really used. If you're going to take a lot and you don't feel comfortable or confident about taking cuttings, I would use one of these. And maybe I didn't say, this is primarily though for indoor plants, okay? So don't go like shoving your rose cuttings in here. It's not going to do it. All right, so that's that. I used all my water in the perlite, so I've got to go a little bit OTT. You're just going to fill up the terracotta pot to the very top, and that's pretty much us. You get a plastic bag, fill it like this, and this has got one of those zip locks, so that's quite good. And that's basically it. That is a Forsyth pot. You can also use something like a white plastic bag, not too thick, but not black. Okay, you need light in there. You need the diffused light. This is going inside. You'll want to put it in a place that is getting light. It's definitely getting light, but not direct light. Okay. And basically, once it's done, you're not going to have to do very much. The water in the terracotta pot is going to leach out, causing humidity to the cuttings around it. And I would say, keep an eye on it, make sure there's still water in there, but you won't have to look at it in the same way you would a jar full of leaf cuttings or your pots half full of leaf cuttings and things like that. Those do require a little bit more aftercare. This is ideal for people who may be just getting into doing cuttings. They have kids, they have cats, they have dogs who are constantly knocking their stuff over. This is good for that. It's got a bit of weight to it, as you can see, not easily knocked over. But I think that's actually us. If there's any questions, please just put something in the comments and I will get back to you, okay? Thank you again for joining us, and hopefully come back tomorrow 12 in the afternoon, and we're going to be doing Begonia Rex cuttings. Thank you so much.